Self-doubt can hold people back from reaching their full potential, whether in their careers, relationships, or personal growth. Confidence is a skill that can be developed. But what are the most effective strategies to overcome negative self-talk and build lasting self-assurance? In this interview series, I'm talking to mindset coaches, psychologists, authors, and other experts who can share actionable insights on overcoming self-doubt and cultivating confidence. As a part of this series, I had the pleasure of interviewing Tim Flynn. Tim is an anti-bullying advocate and the owner of Kato Karate in Mankato, Minnesota. Tim started learning martial arts at the age of 14 and has been teaching martial arts since he was 16 years old. Tim lives in Minnesota and he's married and has 5 girls. Along with running his martial arts business, Tim travels the country and runs seminars on anti-bullying and self-worth called Karate Chop Bullying. Tim also hosts a weekly Breaking Bullying podcast with celebrities and many other wonderful guests. Tim, how are you?
Good, Stanley. How are you doing?
Just fine. First thing I was thinking when it said that you have 5 daughters, I was thinking you had to learn karate to defend yourself in a house with six.
Yeah, luckily, two of the three, or two of the five, I should say, are older. I had kids at a very young age. So my oldest is 23. My second oldest is 18 years old. And then we took 12 years off. And then on the exact same day as my 18-year-old, we had Georgia. So they share birthdays. And then so now we got about 23, 18, 6 year old, 4 year old, and soon to be 2 year old.
You have
So,
your hands full.
yes, very busy household.
Well, that's okay. It's good for you. It'll keep you young.
Exactly.
So let me ask you, how did you get into martial arts in the first place?
So I was bullied through school, and then I remember learning about the Karate Kid movies, and I was like, wow, if I could do karate, I could be like Danielson, I could end the bullying. And when I was young, my parents couldn't afford martial arts classes. It wasn't until I was 14 years old, I had a paper route. Back then, karate classes were only $45 a month. My paper route paid me $50 a month. So, I had $5 left over to spend. So
Ooh, you were
that's how
rich.
yeah, I thought so at $50 back in the 1990s, that was a lot of money back then. I just, yeah, well, since I started karate, I just learned, I said I learned to love it. I just fell in love with karate, with martial arts, and then been doing it since then.
It was who you are.
Yes,
You
it's
fell into it. You fell into it. Yeah, I know about bullying. I remember when I was a kid in elementary school and junior high, I was very overweight. The kids in the playground would throw me on the ground and they'd dance around me and they'd go, "Whale on the beach, whale on the beach." And they kept doing that until one day when I hauled off and popped one of them in the mouth. And then lo and behold, they stopped doing it.
yeah, that's what's crazy. What's sad though, it usually takes some sort of violence to end it.
I know it shouldn't be that way.
For me, my bullying stopped right around my senior year, junior senior year. I can't remember what it was, but we had this class called Lifetime Sports as part of a Phi Ed class, and I had to do so for my Lifetime Sports. I just picked my martial arts. So I did board breaking, sparring, and forms, and ever since the kids saw me do all that stuff, they stopped talking crap about me, and I wasn't bullied after that. But I had a girl in my school who was getting picked on in the playground. And she was like, been here for about a year. And this boy punched her in the stomach.
Uh,
And she was looking for a teacher on the playground, couldn't find one. So she turned around and round kicked this kid in the face. Never been bullied after that since.
I know.
Stops it.
I remember another bullying story. And when I was about 16, I had a kid who lived across the street from me. He was probably about 12, 13. And and he was very much Uh, he had a mini gang. He had like three other people.
A mini game.
Him and three other people. Yeah, mini gang.
Yeah.
And he would he'd do things like I'd be out there playing football with my friends. He would come steal the football, and then an hour or two later, the football would be by my front door. He'd give it back.
Yep.
He'd leave it by the front door, but he'd steal it and take it and then give it back. He would yell at my father all the time, shoot BBs over that direction, all that kind of stuff. And he had one time, this was when nunchucks were really big. And this might have been from some of the Bruce Lee movies, Enter the
Yeah.
Dragon, whatever. Nunchucks, and he was using nunchucks and he thought he was hot stuff with the nunchucks and everything. And mind you, I was like 16 and he was younger. And I was a pretty big boy back then. I was overweight, obese. And he's saying, Stanley, I'm going to kick your butt with the nunchucks and everything. Well, I sat there and I charged him. He hit me with the nunchucks one time. Then I grabbed him and I threw him on the ground and I sat on him. Didn't hurt him. I sat on him, sat on his chest, and I started poking him in the chest. And I said, look, it should be pretty obvious to you right now that I could kick your butt if I wanted to. All this while this little gang is watching. So fortunately for you, I don't want to.
His gang didn't jump in to save
Uh,
him?
The gang did not jump in. No.
That's some crappy friends.
And I sat there and I said, fortunately for you, I don't want to. I would much rather be your friend. I'm tired of you giving my father a hard time. I'm tired of you giving me a hard time. If you want to play football, don't steal my football. Come to us and say, can we play two? And then instead of us having three people, we'll have six or seven and we'll have a better game. I want to be your friend. I don't want to be your enemy. And then I got up and I let him go. And from that day, we were friends.
Good.
He never gave me a hard time again.
That's
But
awesome.
but I had to speak his language,
Yep.
and that was not my normal style of doing things. And to be honest with you, from what I know about his background, he grew up in a pretty horrible background,
Yeah.
and he didn't have a good house to grow up in and everything. So it's you have to cut him a little bit of slack.
Yeah.
Um,
But you're right about speaking the language. That's usually what you have to do in order to get that bullying to stop. You gotta speak your language. And I'm not saying you use violence, but you sat on him, you know. Uh, you pretty much
but I didn't kick his butt. So
nope, you just sat on him
I get
and
a little credit for that.
yeah. So good for you.
Yeah, it's just, it's a funny little story. Uh,
Yeah.
but no, violence is not the way to go. Making fun of people is not the way to go. It's not cool. It's just not good. We need to care about each other. We need to be compassionate toward each other. We
Yeah.
need to help each other.
The problem is with right now is we're seeing bullying be justified. Like it's okay to hurt that person back because they hurt me. You see it with just, in your community. We see it sadly, we see it on the news and politics. People are finding a reason to bully other people. Well, they hurt me, I can hurt them back.
Well,
It's
I
like,
want to interrupt you.
it's,
I will tell you
it's,
right
yeah,
now that one kid who I told you I popped in the mouth,
yeah,
it worked, but I was wrong. And I will admit that. Now keep going.
yeah. So, well, how would you handle that situation differently if you could? Because it stopped, right? So how would you handle it?
Probably would have sat on him.
So,
That's still aggressive, but a little bit less, but a little bit more passive.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. I might not have been able to stop it.
yeah.
I
It,
might
it's
not have been.
always it's always hard to say when you look back. Like, I yeah, you are wrong for hitting them back. Same time, it stopped. So
Yeah.
it's a dilemma that you have to face. but yes, there are other ways to handle that situation. But going back to what I was talking about before, with like our country today or our community today, it's like people are just trying to justify to be mean. And I've seen people on social media, they're calling people names. I'm like, what? Why would this person say this stuff?
I
Especially,
don't like that. And
yeah,
I saw one of
but
your videos where you were talking about that.
yeah, and then I click on their profile and it says this person's a mental health advocate. I'm like, hmm, how are you a mental health advocate if you're calling someone's names and destroying their mental health? And then that's what I thought to myself. But then someone made a comment, and I don't know what the comment said, but the lady kind of answered my question. I was thinking to myself, and she says, well, it's okay to stick up for people who can't stick up for themselves. So she justified to bully another person back because it's like, wait, this is online. I mean, it's really easy to stick up for yourself. You just delete and block these people. But
Yeah, that was what you said. And then you said the response was, I shouldn't have to do that. And you said, so what?
sure.
Um,
Yeah.
it, it's, I mean, I don't have the exact quotes from it, but I'm sure the Tao Te Ching addresses this situation. Just sit back, let it go. I mean, all these things that happened to me when I was a kid, yeah, it bothered me at the time, but it made me into the powerful person I am today.
Yeah.
And now it's easy to laugh at it. Wasn't so easy to laugh at it at the time. And kids have it tough these days. I mean, with social media and everything else, it's as hard as it was when I was growing up, it's worse.
Yeah.
It's got to be worse now.
Social media is horrible. I remember when I was writing for my school board and I got a little taste of cyberbullying. It's like, man, now I know what these kids go through because it doesn't just I never met these people in my life, but now there's a whole new dynamic here. They can attack you, your character online, and since you're running for a public office, it's not illegal to do that because they have laws where you can I don't know.
It's not defamation. That's what you're looking.
Yeah, which is crazy, which is that needs to be changed, I think. But it's like, wow, it's like you're trying to destroy my character on purpose just so you can get your person elected. Like that's sad. But if we were now, if we had our kids doing that to other people, I'm pretty sure no parent, at least I hope not, will allow their kids to behave like that in public and to talk to other people like that. We wouldn't allow it.
I
But
think
we got
certainly some parents might.
yeah, you're right. Some parents might, but some of these parents I when I was getting bullied online, these people have like they're higher ups in the community. They're well respected. So maybe you don't know what goes on behind closed doors, which could be the case, but it's like, wow. I mean, no wonder why kids are confused because they see their parents do it all the time. But if they do it, they get in trouble. But the parents can do it and they don't get in trouble because they always justify, well, because this person's racist or this person's that, or this person's rich. I had a friend recently made a post like, we need to bully Elon more. And I'm like, well, we shouldn't bully anybody. I mean,
I saw what your guest
yeah,
when they
but he
responded.
justified it. And it's like, that's the problem we're in. We are justifying behaviors that we know are wrong. And I honestly don't know why we do it. I mean,
Well, the solution is to change things.
yes,
And the way to change things, it starts with you and me
yeah,
and the people you talk to, the change that this crazy world we live in, this crazy country we live in, this crazy divided country we live in, this crazy world we live in, the solutions are going to come from the ground up.
yeah,
They're not going to come from the top down. It's going to come because we as people, as individuals, decided we wanted something better.
yeah,
And that we're going to teach. we're going to treat people better. You know, I always say, I said this just yesterday, I was talking about respect. Should you respect someone who hasn't earned your respect? Let me ask you that. Should you respect someone who has not earned your respect?
Of course, you
Why?
should respect them
I agree.
because
Why?
that's how I want to be treated. I want to be respected. I don't care if you don't know me or not, you know?
Respecting them is a measure of your character, not theirs.
Yes. Yep.
Period. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Then
And
you get a gold star. Here.
all right. And I get, I can see the other side of it, which is not right, but they're like, well, I had to earn my respect.
Yeah,
But,
you did.
well,
And that's good. I'm glad you
but
did.
I know, but do you think it would have been easier if that person didn't have to earn their respect? You just gave it to them? I mean, come on.
Yes, it would be.
We take the hard road all the time. Like, you know, things should be simple.
It can change.
It's easy to be, it's free to be kind to people. It's free. It's simple to do. I think people got egos in the way. They gotta look good in front of their friends. Even for adults, a friend pointed this out to me the other day. There's some people in our community that say a lot of nasty things to like representatives of our community, and they do that because they have these other women who are higher up liking and supporting it, but you never see those women doing that to other people. They're just supporting it. And what I've started noticing when I've started paying more attention to what's going on in my community, it's the people who are, I should say, more upper class. Now, I might get some hate for saying this, but this is just my opinion and my thoughts, how I'm kind of looking at the whole thing. It's like we have these upper class people making the people with mental health do their dirty work. And I'm starting to see that because I don't see them talking this way on their social media platforms, but they sure do support it when the other people do it. So, and someone pointed that out to me as well. Like, oh yeah, I started kind of noticing that as well. It reminds me of Hunger Games a little bit. If you've ever seen Hunger Games, it's like it's crazy. But no, that's just my little community. We just have some people who
It's
the
just
same, the
it's
same people.
it's every
Yeah,
it's not just you.
yeah.
Don't
I
pick on your community.
Oh no, my eyes just got a little bit more wide open. When you run for public office, your eyes get to be a little bit more wider. You see more things that you probably would have saw before. And
That's one of
you
the
see,
reasons that's one of the reasons I don't run for public office is because I think I can accomplish more by not doing it than I could if I did.
I only ran for school board because if you hear my podcast, I always talk about how schools should do this, schools should do that. Until one day I get this email and I'm like, well, why don't you run for school board then? And so it's like getting kind of called out. I'm like, okay, so people want me to back this stuff up. This is what they're trying to say. And that's
That,
why I ran. I mean, I had no interest in running for school board until you get called out. Like, you talk about the school so much, why don't you run for school board and see if you can make it happen? You know, so I did. I tried. I didn't win, but
I assume that. Um, yeah, it's not easy, but you did speak up, and kudos to you for doing that.
yeah. And
It,
it's tough.
that's
It's tough.
that's where it starts, though.
Yeah.
Being a tough guy and being showing compassion, setting an example. That's what I try to do. Some days I'm better at it than other days.
Oh,
But
yeah. You're not going to be perfect at everything. And especially, it's, it can be hard to be kind to other people when you're being attacked. But if you remember who you are as a person, you got to keep telling yourself this. You got to keep, you got to ignore those people and go to people that you trust. Like when I was being attacked by that school board, it got to your mind. Let's talk about mindset. It could change your mind around about your beliefs a little bit, but I had to go talk to friends, you know,
yeah,
it's just, you know, it's crazy. So you can't do everything on your own. It's okay to go talk to people, ask for help, say, I need help with this. I have this bothering me. It's totally okay. Just let down your ego and ask for help no matter where you are in life. I think if people can understand that, it might help them not be so defensive about things that really shouldn't really bother them. So,
Can we switch gears?
yeah, let's go ahead.
What do you teach? A lot of your students are kids, correct?
Yep. Pretty much all of my students are kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you teach them?
What do I teach them? So, we're not your typical martial arts program. We focus more on a lot of child development, so the physical, intellectual, emotional, social skills. So, I'm going to kind of run through my whole business here as quick as I can. So, when a kid comes to me, they don't just hop into a class with a bunch of kids right away. They go through an evaluation because I want to get to know them. I want to see where they're at physically, intellectually, emotionally, and socially. A lot of that, like, you know, are they confident? Are their eyes down when they talk to me? Do they talk clearly? I write down all this stuff about them. And that way I get a better understanding about these kids. And then I take those kids where they're at. So for some martial arts schools, it's pretty straightforward. You have to do a front kick this way. If you don't look this way, you don't pass your test. I don't do that. I'm looking at, okay, this kid maybe doesn't have the best front kick. But when he first came to me, his head was down, his hands were in his pockets. He barely said a word. Now he's been here for 3 months. He's going to test for new rank. He's standing tall, making eye contact, has loud yells. Front kicks, nah, we got some balance issues to work on, but but that's okay, one step at a time. So I still reward kids on improvements. I don't promote kids based on how people think a certain rank should look. So for black belt, when we watch movies, we see black belts, they look amazing, but that's on TV. What what is a black belt? A black belt is a kid who, kind, caring, they're confident. Maybe they can't do a side kick above their head. Their body may not be built for that. They can stretch all they want. Their body just can't do that. You have to kind of put away the physical. You have to kind of not look at the physical part of the kid. You got to look at them as a whole and be able to know where they improved. Because the physical is just like, 1/4 of the training. It's like you said, it's the mind, it's the mental, it's the growth that they're experiencing. No, I definitely would not have a black belt kid doing this. Um, so, Daniel, do you know your form today? Um, um, I don't know. Now, you're not going to test for black belt if you have that attitude. It's a yes or no question. You either do or you don't. So, I mean, there's stuff I will judge based on how they talk to me. Um, Majority of the time, kids get a black belt. They're confident. They stand tall. They speak clearly. Some of these kids are teenagers, so you got kind of that teenager thing with them. When kids laugh, that's also a sign of nervousness. So I have to try to, break through that. I'm like, tell it to me in confident. Tell me that you're confident. Do you know your form? Yes or no? And they don't want to admit that they haven't been practicing. No, I don't know my form yet. Okay, do you want to wait a few months to test? Yes. Simple as that.
What you're
But
doing is you're building better human beings.
yes,
That's what your school is.
that'd be my new tagline. We build better human beings.
Yeah.
It's easier. It's shorter.
Yeah. It's what you're doing.
Yeah.
And believe me, we all can use that.
Yeah.
And that's what people should realize. I have another one for you. First of all, that build better human beings, you can have that, no charge. Uh,
Okay.
you're welcome to use it. I have another one for you. Beat yesterday.
Beat yesterday. So like be better than yesterday, basically.
That's it.
Yeah.
It is. Improve. Be better than you were yesterday. Be
Yep.
better tomorrow than you were today. it's funny. You know that old saying, that get 1% better every day and let the gains accumulate.
Yep.
I've been doing that for over 16 years now. And I created an Excel spreadsheet because I was curious what the number would be to show what would happen if I did 1% improvement every day for over 16 years. And according to that formula, I'm something like 9 million times better. That's not like 900. It's not billion, trillion, quadrillion, quintillion. It's like 9 million or something. It's got an
Yeah.
incredible number of zeros behind it. And it's just like, boy, look how much better I am than I used to be. But
Exactly.
the point is just constantly work, constant and never ending improvement. CANI,
Yep.
Kaizen,
Yes.
constant and never improvement. And that sounds to me like that's what you're teaching these kids.
Yeah. And it can be challenging. It's not the easiest job in the world because
That's why
you will eventually find their weakest like their weak spot. You will eventually find out that, oh, this is actually hard now. And then you start seeing the excuses come up. Oh, I can't do this, which I can talk them through it, but what doesn't help me is when the parents agree with their kid. Well, you should cut that standard. You should lower that standard for him. I'm like, why? No, he's just afraid. What's there to be afraid of? Has he ever done it yet before? No. Well, he's afraid. And that's my battle most days
I'd
is when a kid,
rather work with him and help him learn to meet that standard and
yeah. And
be patient.
uh, my school, we have standards. It's not on the physical level. It's more like the mental level. But, you know, like I tell a kid, okay, part of our testing requirement is you have to be able to kick head level with certain kicks. Because just because some like a spin hook kick is it's like a spin side kick and you snap it around, that doesn't really work at someone's. But I mean, it will work at someone's head. I mean, someone's chest. It works better at someone's head level. Now, if a kid can't do that, I'll ask him, well, are you stretching out every day? Are you at least trying to get better? No. Okay, well, I'm not going to test you because if I knew you were trying every day to get that kick higher, or you're putting the effort in, you're stretching every day, I'm asking them to do it for like 3 minutes a day, nothing huge, just stretch. But if they don't want to do the work, well, I'm not going to test them. Now, I do have this one kid who stretches all the time. He's just built in a way where he cannot do it. And he comes to class for an hour and all he'll do is stretch. That's all he wants to do. He wants to stretch, and then we'll try to do kicks. Still, his body's just not built that way, which is fine. At least he's trying, and we know, okay, you're just probably not built that way. Teen, Pre-teen kids, they're growing. It's really hard to get a lot of that flexibility right away. But at least I know that you're trying to you're putting the effort in, and maybe someday you'll get there. But right now, that's okay. At least I know you're trying, and I'm going to pass you for that. So I have black belts that probably can't kick head level. As long as you're open and honest with me that they've been trying, that's totally fine. But if you get the kids who are like, nah, that's too hard, or I don't got time, tablets, and mom saying, well, maybe, but like, no, what's that teaching the kid? That it's okay to quit when it's too hard? But
It's the trying where you build confidence. That's
yeah,
there's a saying, um, you know who Mel Robbins is?
I haven't heard that.
She's a self-help, she used to be a journalist and she has a leading podcast. A lot of self-improvement stuff. Mel Robbins, good stuff. She said, confidence is the willingness to try.
Yeah, I
That's
like
all.
that.
Confidence, and you can, I'm sure she'll let you borrow that one as well. Con-
Willingness to try.
Confidence is the willingness to try.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
true.
Just try.
That's true. Because how do you increase confidence on stuff that you already know how to do? You're already confident in that skill. You gotta learn more skills. You get more confidence because not everybody, you can't walk around and say, yeah, I'm fully confident at everything. Well, have you tried everything? No. Well, There's something, and that's what you see in martial arts. You kids can start off, sometimes you get kids who are very confident in their eval. Their first 2 years here, they're very confident. I still remember this one girl I trained back when I first opened my school. She was a gifted, like you would say she's a gifted athlete until we started teaching her to jump spin kicks. She couldn't get it down the first time. And that's like new to her. She would get everything down the first time until now. So she quit. And I was so disappointed because this girl had so much talent. And the mom agreed with, with the child. That's like, oh, that's probably what, you know, bothers me the most is
That's
we have a
got to
lot
be,
of
that
parents.
has to be frustrating.
It's like you finally find a spot where the kid needs help, and now you can't do it because the mom says no. But this girl, if she would have practiced, and we have technology, we have YouTube. I have kids saying, "Hey, if you can't learn this kick the way I'm teaching it to you, because this is how I learned it, go on YouTube, type in the kick name, and find other videos that may be able to teach you in a way that I haven't thought of teaching it. See if that works for you." And actually, that has helped a few kids. They found new ways to teach it because, just because I'm a black belt, essentially a black belt, I don't know every little trick. I can admit that I don't know every little trick, but we have the technology. Go, and I'll tell you how to find it if you can't do it. But it's worked for quite a few kids. Like, oh, okay, that makes sense. It's just like anything else in school, like math. You don't get something, a teacher tells you one way, but you go hear from a different teacher, and it clicks. Oh, that makes sense now. It's no different.
Mhm.
But it's really hard when parents are with the kids and they don't let the kid problem solve. Like that's simple problem solving. You can go look up on YouTube. I mean, not really a problem solving. You're just trying to find something that's going to click for you.
Seeing
Um,
parents inadvertently teach their kids limited thinking
yeah,
and reinforce negative self-talk. And
yeah,
it's a shame when that happens.
yeah.
And
It is.
it's, your job, yeah, what you're describing to me makes a lot of sense to me. And it doesn't surprise me that you're telling me that's what your job is like. But it also, I would imagine, as frustrating as that might be, it's also very rewarding.
Yeah, because I do have a, obviously a lot of the parents, like all my black belts here now. I have this one kid who tells me he's going to quit all the time. I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit. Dude, you've been here for like 5 years, man. You've been saying that for like three. And he doesn't get things down right away, but his parents won't let him quit. Nope. You
I
got to
would,
get this rank.
I would
Oh,
tell you
nope. Now you got to get this rank.
if you were
It's
gonna,
like,
if you were gonna quit, you'd have done it already.
yeah. But I mean, I the hard part with me, especially with kids, is you have to remind them like just because one kid can do it doesn't mean you're going to do it exactly the way they can do it. And that's tough for kids to understand that. And it's like, it's when I was talking to somebody on a podcast, she kind of she brought up the analogy, oh, it's kind of like fitness. We have magazines who will say what the perfect what perfect health looks like, which is not true because we don't all have the same bodies. We all look differently, but we can still be in better health than that person in the magazine. That was her analogy. And like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Can I give you
Kind
an
of like with
example?
martial arts.
Can I
Yeah,
give
go
you an
ahead.
example of that? Okay. That's what I've gone through in my fitness regimen. Very quickly, when I decided to get in shape, I figured out I was never going to be the fastest runner. In fact, I wasn't going to be a good runner at all because it hurt me too much. But what I did figure out was I could walk, and I wasn't going to be the fastest walker because, again, it would hurt too much. But the one thing I figured out I could do, I couldn't walk as fast as somebody else, but I can walk and walk and walk and walk. And when the other person drops, I can keep walking and keep walking and keep walking and walk for hour after hour after hour after hour at the slow pace that I walk.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I, over the last 16 years, I've done 103 marathons and I've never completed one in less than 11 hours. Which if you think about it, that's a horrible time. Uh, Especially when you consider
But
world records right around 2 hours, just above
but
2 hours. But yeah, but I
how many people can go 26.2 miles though?
not
Or
not many. I
yeah,
don't I don't know anybody my age who can do what I do. I'm sure there are people,
of course.
but I don't know them. And they're not who I'm challenging. They're not who I'm fighting against. And I'm not even fighting against myself, but I challenge myself. I do it, but that's what there I have a saying. It's up on my wall. I go, why am I doing this? Okay. Because it makes me tougher, because it makes me stronger, because I can.
Yeah.
That's why I do it. I'm all for the mental discipline. I love that. And I think it makes disciplined kids turn into better adults.
Yeah. And with martial arts, that's basically what I do. When you're working with kids and the confidence, you gotta let the kids know that it's okay to have a bad day. It's okay you can't do this yet. It's not a big deal. You gotta it's constant reassuring them. It's
Yes,
fine. It's fine. Yeah, you did it last week. Today you can't do it. I have those days too. That's part of life. It's normal. You know, but kids don't understand that yet. So as parents, adults, we have to teach them, hey, it's okay. It's fine.
as parents, as adults, we don't have to teach them. We get to teach them.
Yes.
It's our privilege.
Yep.
It is your privilege to do what you do. It is your gift. And that's why you have a smile on your face.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a
Because you love what you're doing. There are
yeah.
moments, there are moments, I'm sure there are moments when your job sucks. And
Oh,
there
there's plenty of those moments.
and
That's
there
big.
and there are moments when your job is the greatest job on the face of the earth.
Yes. The only time my job sucks is when you're not on the mats, when you're doing the adult work. You gotta do the accounting. You gotta do
Yeah,
all that stuff.
the paperwork.
Oh, that part
I
sucks.
get it. I get it. I
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
it. In closing, anything else you want to add?
No, um, you know, as far as, having that positive mindset, one of the things I try to tell kids and people is just try to avoid that negativity. If say you are getting picked on social media, block the kid. If you went to the teacher, they're still doing it, block the kid. If you're um if you're around friends who are negative all the time or they're always pressuring you to do things, well, that should be a warning sign that it's probably not the right thing to do because why won't they do it? Find new friends. Go find that kid sitting by themselves in the lunchroom. That's like a guaranteed friend right there, I promise you. You see a kid sitting by themselves in the lunchroom, that's a guarantee new friend that you're going to have for the rest of your life. And the next day, go find another one. You can build up a whole new group of kids or friends. You know, Sometimes you have to cut those negative people out of your life, you know. Um,
And sometimes you have to walk away from toxic people.
yeah,
But
good.
but I always say there's one person you should never walk away from, yourself.
Yes.
Never,
Yeah.
ever, ever walk away from yourself.
Don't give up on yourself. And I think as in our community, I feel like we have give up on ourselves. So what we do is we want to attack other people so we can make them feel the way we feel. Because then it makes me feel good. Because now you feel the way I feel, which doesn't make sense when you say it out loud, But people who attack don't love themselves. And that's another thing you need to do. It's hard to be kind to other people if you can't be kind to yourself. It's
You're
really tough because how do you know how to be kind if you can't be kind to yourself? If you go around and say, I'm fat, okay, your brain doesn't know that you're joking about that. It's going to say, okay, I'm fat, I'm dumb, I'm stupid. You could say it as you try to say, I'm joking, but no, your mind does not understand that. You keep putting yourself in this negative mindset the whole time. It's going to affect your mental health. Um, so I tell kids, I didn't come up with this, but add the word yet after when you say,
back.
I can't do it yet. I learned that a few years ago. It's like, wow, that does wonders. It's just because when you say it out loud, I can't run. I can't run yet. You can feel the difference in your body how you say that. It's crazy. It's
Your
just one
brain,
little word.
your brain believes everything you tell it.
Yes.
So make sure you tell it good stuff.
Yep. So be kind to yourself. It's probably the most important thing. If you can be kind to yourself, you be kind to others, yeah, your mental health will thank you.
I could not have said it any better. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.